is Tuesday, April 1st at 4:30, and the first order of business will be pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes for March 18th. Very good.
Yep.
Please,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the manifest. Payroll, $35,787.14. Liabilities, $11,161.02. Accounts payable, $62,194.09. $200,000 to the Madison Elementary School for a total of $309,142.65.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I will formally abstain as I didn't have a chance to look at it.
And they'll send it back.
Yeah, no.
Pulley system.
Little conveyor belt.
Yeah, right.
I put the basket over on the chair there, so maybe.
Oh,
just
perfect.
Yep.
Ultimately,
idea.
still end up at the end of the table.
Public comment? Seeing no members of the public.
Okay.
All right, discussion items, new business, MS 232 appropriations as voted. Anything you need to note? Nope.
No, just, this is what
What voted?
was voted at town meeting.
Anybody have any questions, comments, statements? Colorful pictures?
Bring my crayons.
I can put it in the signature items if, no comments or anything.
I don't see anything from the board. Joy, you good?
Yeah.
All right, put that in the signature items then. Fair enough. Mount Washington Valley Mutual Aid Agreement. I think we've all had a chance to look at it. Any questions?
Yeah, was there did Conway, or was there something with Conway on the kind of Conway side of Madison where they were disinclined to provide mutual aid? Is that at all reflected in this, or are we past that and back to providing mutual aid again, or?
I don't think there was a change in 911 address.
No, that particular issue is unrelated to this.
Right.
Okay.
On this first, with the fairly substantial changes happening in the fire service in the city of Conway, with Redstone, East Conway being merged into Center Conway, it changes a lot of their operation. So the chiefs from North Conway and Conway Village decided it might be time to update the agreement. So
Yep.
there's really nothing at all earth-shattering about, it's a ratification of what existed before with a recognition of the fact that there's no longer a department in Redstone or East Conway.
Are they changing over to get out of precincts this year? Going to the town now?
The Conway Village precinct dissolved effective March of last year.
So this will
So
reflect
the
that?
Conway Village Fire Department is under the umbrella of the
Okay.
town of Conway.
I didn't know.
Still have the precinct in North Conway and basically the precinct in Center Conway, which East Conway and Redstone merged into.
Correct, yeah.
I don't really, other than it's different layers of taxation, that's about the level of my understanding. And they do have geographic boundaries that you can find, I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
other than that, basically, we're members of that mutual aid. For good reason, we share a substantial border with Conway.
Yep.
And back to Selectman Gray's issue, the 911 response zones from E911 in Concord, there was an issue with the retired chief in Conway Village, a particular address in Madison on Allard Hill, a substantial call volume. 2 years, up until 2 years ago when it was changed, 911 calls from that small zone of Tasker, Allard Hill, and the little strip of Route 16 were routed to Conway Police Station. Conway was dispatched automatic into Madison because of geographics, and then they would call Carroll County to dispatch us because it's actually in the town of Madison. The chief in Conway he felt that mutual aid was being abused. Now, I wasn't the one, nobody at the town of Madison was picking up the phone and calling 911, so I mean, we weren't abusing anybody. It was just a fact, it was a bad circumstance. Anyway, he really put his foot down hard, and so we contacted E911. They remapped the zone so that 911 calls from that sector go to Carroll County now and are dispatched to us now. Based on severity of the call, we can still automatically have Carroll County call Conway and Conway Police Dispatch to dispatch Conway Village because they can still get there quicker. They have a minimum of 2 men 24 hours a day.
Right.
Individuals, I should say, personnel. And geographically, they're much closer than we are.
Yep.
And to my knowledge, we haven't had any real notable impacts since that change happened.
Any other questions on the mutual aid agreement?
It did say price. You don't have an A, it's like, same for anything.
That's okay.
Admiral?
Man,
Yeah.
it's close enough.
Yep.
I like it.
I'll take it.
Well said.
Signature.
Yeah, you want a motion, do you want to vote on it, or you just want to toss it in the?
Do you need a vote or just the signatures?
Well, you absolutely need the signature, I think to sign it, you need to vote that you
And
sign
and
it.
then need a vote. I'll make a motion that we sign the mutual aid agreement.
I'll second.
Seconded by everybody at the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Was there a problem on the signature page?
Yeah, my name doesn't have the second A in it.
It says ADM.
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 Admiral.
Let me go
Price.
fix that, because
Yep.
when they finally sent the draft to me, it was right after we'd had our election and had 5 selectmen, so they still had 3 and they'll hold 3, so let me go fix that and
Sign
reprint
it.
it.
Perfect.
And is there something else? Did you just do the signature page?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
so then
I
whatever
had
that
no-
handwritten is.
Yeah, those notes are mine, supposedly they're gonna fix those. They weren't too concerned about the details.
Don't bother till I bite you.
All right, he's gonna fix that. All right. Men's softball league field use fees. So this was me last year. The league came to me and asked me about potentially waiving the fees to save them some cash. And they had offered help with rehabilitating the field. The deal that I made with them at the time after it came to the board was that they had to agree to keep the field clean when they were using it. We had had some trouble in the past, and that they were gonna help with the rehabilitation. We haven't gotten that far into rehabilitation. I didn't receive any help last year. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna receive any help this year. Heather, were there any issues with cleanliness at summer camp last year?
Always, yeah.
Yes.
Broken glass, cans. And it's fun because the kids find it, so that's even better.
So that was the deal that we made. They didn't really hold up their end of the bargain with the cleanliness portion of it.
Was there an impact with porta johns and that kind of thing? I mean, at one point here, they listed it back,
We get an extra one
the
for,
championship.
For them, right?
Championship, they had like 60 people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had the extra one there because we had Old Home Week one was still there. So that we didn't require them to get one last year because
So
we.
that's all part of our regular contract?
Yes, we keep it for a month anyways, because whether you rent it for a week or a month, you pay the same amount, so I have them leave it there for
Okay.
a month, so we had one already.
And it sounds like we should go back to the standard fee then?
Yeah,
$100
I
per
mean,
team?
I like doing them a favor. They have been a big part of keeping this field and helping with the fences when they went up and all those things. But if they can't keep it clean, I don't.
As when you revisit next year, if they're able to keep it clean this year, we can revisit maybe waiving the fee if they can hold up their end of the bargain.
So re-implement it this year and then revisit it again next year?
I feel like that's probably the fairest way to do it.
How many Madison residents play in this league?
Probably 15, 20 anyways,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, on these same lines, I think the other problem is that there's no place to put the trash. That's, which I get why, but,
Right.
Lug in, lug out.
right,
It's a carry in, carry out.
Well, that's the team should bring a bag, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do with the
Yeah.
league. Typically, we have a bag and
yeah. Yep.
So, I guess then if this board is good with it, I will tell Alan that we're reinstating the fees for this year, and if they can keep the fields clean this year, we'll revisit it again next year and hope potentially waive them next year.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wanna keep them on board, they have been a lot of help in the past.
Yeah.
but Can't let it go unnoticed.
Do we need a vote? Or just we're
I mean, I don't
reverting
think
back
so.
to regular policy?
I think we would need a vote to waive it, but the fee is standard
Yeah.
practice, if we're not gonna waive it this year, then
Okay.
just move along.
So you said you were gonna talk
I
about.
will call, yep. All right. Rec department meetings and 5K race route. You don't see Sherry?
No, she's still working.
Okay.
I'm the one who put it on the agenda, just
Yeah.
to, you know,
Yes.
save, Heather.
Yep. So it looks like the committee wants to move their meetings to the school. Is this? Yeah.
Second Wednesday.
To the library, the second Wednesday of every month. We talked about this, obviously, trying to make it a little bit more inviting for parents to attend rec committee meetings. Potential of open gym for parents that have kids want to attend the meeting, can allow their kids to go hang out in the gym with one of our volunteers or something of that nature. The question was brought up is Mad TV, that it's harder for them to do it there. I don't think it's any more money out of our pocket, because if my understanding is correct, they get paid for 2 hours, no matter what. And I don't recall, there's only been 1 or 2 meetings in our history that have gone over an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes that I can recall. Could be wrong. But those are the sticking points if I'm,
Yeah.
it's really the idea behind it.
So,
They set up and they're gonna do in the library?
That's the idea.
Yeah, and that's where Mad TV, they do the school board meetings every month in the library too, so it's not like they have a system already at least in place.
Yeah,
for
I'm talking
setting
to
up in the
Asia,
library.
it is more difficult than
Yeah.
setting up here, obviously, because they're set up here pretty much 24/7.
so the library's not set up for the school board on a regular basis?
No, I think you have to bring the equipment in and set up every time.
So you have to bring it in?
It's a little bit more of a hassle for them, but again, I don't think it's any more money given the 2-hour minimum because of the length of our meetings.
We were just looking to try something different really, and try and get more people to come and get involved, and here we are kind of thing. But I understand if it's gonna be a pain, then we don't wanna be a pain. So,
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I think it might be a little bit of a pain for Mad TV. I'm sorry, Kasha. But I think for the benefit of the rec and getting more
Right, if it
involvement
gets more involvement.
and having a place for the kids to go, if that ends up working out, is huge for parents to attend meetings.
Right.
Do you think 5:30 is a good time to actually get parents there?
It's better than 4:30.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. 5:30 is the time that works for the members that are on that committee, and they're all working parents.
Do we know what day?
Second Wednesday of every month is the plan. That's what's posted. Is that,
Yeah.
is it posted?
Kasha, they do have a
Okay,
schedule.
it's not posted yet.
Because we now need
It's
to
on the
agree
website.
on the location. But, yeah. I mean, I guess the only other question the committee has, and I think I already know the answer to this, is they're wondering, do they have to be recorded?
Yes.
I don't think there's nothing saying they have to be, but it is,
Transparency.
It's right.
it is what we
gets
do.
people
It's not a policy,
informed.
but it's.
Right,
Right. And you're able to watch
yep.
after the fact.
I don't think there's any town policy that says you have to, but all of our other boards and committees are recorded. But
I mean, Kasha, is it a pain? Like, be honest.
It's not the only, I guess the only thing I'm thinking, if there's another meeting here going on at the same time,
Yeah.
then it just could be a staffing issue sometimes,
Which I
but
do.
I don't, there shouldn't be.
is there usually anything on the second
No.
Wednesday of the
I
month?
think the only
can't
Wednesday
remember.
meeting would be ZBA, and they're gonna be in the
Yep.
gym
And then third Thursday
And-
anyway.
oh, yeah, the
Third Wednesday.
third Wednesday, so there shouldn't
So
be
no,
any
because you had your
conflicting.
meetings here anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
awesome.
So we definitely don't wanna be difficult, that's,
Yeah, do you though?
I am trying really hard not to be.
Heather is trying to ask me on the line.
I think it's a good idea, just to try to get some more people engaged.
Yeah.
If it becomes too much of a pain for anybody,
Yeah.
then we can always repost it to come back.
Revert back, right.
So we can agree this is a trial.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just like get it all planned.
everybody good with that?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. 5K race route.
That was me too. I only put that on there because I reached out to Primex to make sure that having the 5K was covered, and it was, but they gave a list of things to consider
Yep.
if you're gonna have the 5K, and I just thought that it should be known about those things.
I know Sherry's reached out to Chief too, to make sure, and he actually, I believe, he suggested this.
Yeah, he recommended
Yeah.
the route last
Safety,
meeting, yeah.
Did we send Sherry a copy of this?
Yes, she
Yeah.
did, yeah, when I sent it to
Okay.
you,
Yep.
I CC'd Sherry
Yep.
too.
I think so,
Wouldn't-
To the post office. No, we're trying to do, East Shore,
Out and back,
out and back.
from the foot of the lake, out back. Whether you go lead mine or, halfway distance come back, because that's easier to monitor traffic.
Less traffic
Right.
on 13.
Right.
There's a loop in Carved and Bark, right, too? Do you-
I mean, Carpenter Bark is a giant loop, realistically, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't want it, you crossing the road wouldn't be,
41.
You'd need state
right, you need
permission
state
to be
Okay.
crossing the
So
road.
we'll stay on.
right, because if you do any state road, you need permission and proof of
So do we know,
safety.
do we know exactly where this is gonna go?
East Shore Drive
You Shore Drive.
from,
Foot of the lake
The
Yeah, it's
boat
out
launch,
and back,
yep,
which
wherever
is-
5K is.
traffic should be at, next to
Minimum.
nothing.
and if we cross 41, we need more permission to do that.
I would.
I would just head
Okay,
towards lead mine and go out to wherever the halfway point is, turn and come back. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I'm
How
not
far
trying
is
to,
it to the cul-de-sac?
it's gotta be close, I mean, that's
That's
all out
actually
there.
farther. So
Yeah,
maybe
it might
further
be
away.
farther, right, yeah, so either
Go from
way.
the beach to the cul-de-sac back.
But my thought was, I mean, typically lead mine is less traveled than East Shore
That's
as
true.
far as for residents getting back and forth, and maybe easier to control the traffic from the boat, or whether it's a boat launch or the lake,
Well, we below when you
to,
started the.
right,
beach.
just, that's only 200 yards
Yeah.
worth of town road till you get to the class 6. It might be, but.
When is the race?
May the 4th be with you.
Yes,
Yes.
May 4th.
May-
Star Wars Day.
It might be dry by then.
if we're lucky.
Make it one of those, what are they called?
Mudders.
Yeah, the tough mudder thing.
I'd stay on East Shore Drive
Me
just
too.
because
Cul-de-sac.
you're more visible.
Yeah.
Lead mine's pretty narrow and it's got turns in it.
Yeah.
All right, in all fairness, I'm getting text from Sherry.
Yep.
She's watching the meeting from home. So it's been worked out with Officer Hayford that it was doing foot of the lake through lead mine, so down lead mine.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So.
Well, that's probably easier to close as far as to through traffic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
There you go.
do we know if or Chief Hayford has offered some presents that day for the race?
Do you know?
She has talked to him about some sort of, somebody.
I mean,
I'm
we
sure he
don't.
would be if he's talking
Yeah.
about closing a road.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'd probably be running if I
Yeah.
am, so.
Yes.
Okay.
I know, I'm not
I'm
giving him
gonna
as
channel
fast
some
as
of
you
there,
are.
yes.
All right.
So you're gonna go out lead mine to the,
Foot of the lake to lead mine.
And
And
back,
back.
wherever 5K ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5K is 3.1 miles. Is it exactly
Mile
3?
and a half.
Now it's 3.
Mile and a half.
3.1 or something.
2.5K out and 2.5K
Yeah.
back.
There you go. Whatever K is.
Yeah, 1.6 miles out, 1.6 miles back, or something like that. Okay. I don't have any issues with that. I think that's the best place for it. Staying off 113 is probably your best bet.
Agreed.
As far as Primex said, I'm assuming the fire department will be involved with the rescue, all that. No, that doesn't really matter.
I don't know.
We typically are at a.
That's what I
only
mean,
5
yeah.
days.
Other than that, everything else.
I'm usually the last to find out on wreck things.
So,
All right, didn't mean to pull that Band-Aid.
sounds like
I'm
Sherry's
learning.
watching. Sherry, reach out to Chief King about having the fire department readily available.
Chief who?
Chief Cook.
Or
Chief Hayford.
Chief Brooks. There's too many chiefs.
Somebody.
I didn't call you that.
Hey, we'll figure it out what day of the
You're
week.
gonna be Darth Vader
It's gonna be Saturday, right? No, Sunday.
Sunday,
Even so, we can make it work.
Yeah.
when you're,
Chief King.
Whatever
That was good.
I heard. I was like, what? Bye.
That one hurt.
Sorry. All right. Everybody good with the race route?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Scenic road tree removal application for the planning board.
Can we go back to rec and just
Oh,
Oh.
yep.
one thing, and the
Oh, okay.
discounts or the.
Oh,
the
right,
people's-
yes.
I was,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
I was
oh,
hoping to get to that under her list, because
Okay, never
she's got a
mind.
list.
Okay,
I
sorry.
was
Yeah.
wondering when that was coming
Never
to.
mind.
I was gonna
Okay.
get to that after we got to the agenda
I
items
just
on
had,
your,
never mind. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yep.
Proceed.
All right. Scenic road tree removal application for the planning board. DPW is looking to clear some trees off of Pound Road to help with the washout situation.
I guess there's trees that grow in the ditches.
Ditch line, yep.
And they wanna take those out because it just keeps causing a bad erosion. And the application would be signed by the town, so that Josh can be the person to go to the planning board and explain it and talk to him about it.
Yep.
So all these property owners, it's things on their property, on the side of the road on their property?
Is it?
It-
Should be
Or is it
in
in
the
the
right
easement?
away, I would
It's
think.
gonna
Right.
be in the right of way, in
Okay.
front of their properties, correct.
So.
And they don't have to be notified by planning board that this is all happening, but Josh hopes to have letters sent to the owners just telling them, you know, that this is the plan and what we'll be doing, so they won't be shocked when someone's out front cutting trees down. But from what I understand, I think people that are there have spoken to the whole idea of, you know, this washes out all the time.
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
Is there another large logging project going on up at that intersection between Pound and Maple? 'Cause I think the bus has gotten stuck up there when one of the big logging trucks
well, there's one on Maple
went
Road.
sideways. Is that where
And
it is?
they've been coming up and coming down Pound to come out to East Madison Road that way.
Okay.
There's a,
Um,
Fadden owns a 200-acre parcel up there that's logging off of Maple.
Yeah, that was Fadden,
Yeah.
and I can't think of another one up there.
Do we know if they're almost done?
Okay, haven't been
I'm sure
doing
they haven't
much.
been out there since the road
Road
bans
bans.
went on.
Yeah,
I haven't received their report or cut to say they're done. so.
I'd say if they're
But-
not 200, that's.
But no, actually though, they have to be done because today is the new year and they haven't reported or asked for either a
Extension.
extension or a new cut. So they are at this point done until they
Okay.
ask for more permission.
All right.
You said that's fat?
Yes.
How long, you need our signature on this application?
Well, just owner of record, one signature.
I know.
So,
My signature's floating around out there a lot.
Yeah.
This is one quick question. Does it have any power lines running down through by all these trees? Okay. Because I know probably PSNH, because I know like my road has been
That's-
flagged forever by PSNH for trees to come down. They've never taken them
That's,
down,
that's
but
not, that's New Hampshire Co-op.
that's co-op
Yeah.
up there?
Co-op to the intersection,
Okay,
and Eversource runs right up Lions Hill.
okay.
I can
Separate.
just make it a note for them to coordinate with co-op if necessary.
If necessary,
Yep.
yep. Yep.
And this isn't anything they're gonna start like right off the bat. I
Right.
think this was kind of a summer project is what they were talking
Yep.
about.
I thought we were gonna get it done tomorrow.
What happens to the 30 trees?
Probably wood for Old Home Week.
Yeah,
Be
no,
honest.
I mean, it's probably what's.
It's what it usually
probably
happens with
scrubby
it.
stuff anyways.
They use it for the beanhole.
So is there a plan though?
I haven't heard, but I'm sure they do whatever.
I can't imagine growing in a ditch line, I can't imagine any of them are super big, super large, or worth of anything.
But they usually take all that stuff and they cut and split it and use it for the beanhole supper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same thing, just consider keeping for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it was old growth and something worth money, but like I said, I doubt growing in a ditch it's big or old.
Sure.
And s'mores night.
There you go.
That's the most important part. S'mores night.
I'm partial to the beans, especially after last year. All right. Well, I'll make a motion that we sign that.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 No, it's not typical for chairman to make those motions, but I'm doing it anyway. Do you have a clean copy we can put the signature items? Thank you, Linda. All right. Lower garage furnace. We have two quotes in here. Well, essentially we have four. We have one quote from Eastern for replacement. It doesn't. So this is smaller than what we
Yeah,
got.
this is not the same one we have.
Eastern's is smaller.
Yes, 300,000 BTU.
Yeah, one quote from Eastern for 17,892 for replacement with a smaller unit, and then we have three separate quotes from, or three separate options from Herto. All cheaper, I think they're all cheaper.
They are all cheaper, yes.
All cheaper than Eastern's quotes, and option 3, Herto's cheapest option, is a direct replacement for what we have, which is 450,000 BTU, which happens to be the largest BTU unit quoted by either company,
And the cheapest unit.
and the cheapest unit. And my guess is availability as to why it's so cheap.
Right, it's one, he said 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah,
The other ones are 4 to 5.
yeah.
What does the DPW think about the options? Do we know, Linda, what they want?
The least, less expensive
Yeah.
for the same, was the idea.
And it'll do the
And
job.
The whole idea of having similar BTU for that building.
Yeah. It'll,
They did the job for them.
I'm still a little bit baffled that the biggest unit is the cheapest
Right.
unit, but I'm not gonna argue with the guy that quoted it either.
Right. I don't know, they're probably a different style unit
Yeah.
would be my guess, but.
And then in terms of maintenance, I just know with Eastern stuff at my house, they're right out if you call them kind of thing. So if we have issues, would we call her tow? We call Eastern?
You would probably
or-
call Eastern is the
Our provider.
provider, right? So they would be the ones that would service it even if they didn't install it.
Yeah. Not to say Herto wouldn't
wouldn't,
service it, I wouldn't have any doubt that he'd be there to service it if we needed him to.
I guess that would be my only question, depending on who services, if we're gonna ask Eastern, as our propane or oil provider to do service it, just make sure that it's one that they service.
It's the same one they service now. It's the same exact
Same
one that's
exact
in
unit.
there
They
that
pulled it.
failed.
Literally the
Literally the
exact
same
same.
one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just a newer model.
Literally.
Or newer,
right, 25 or so years newer.
yeah.
Got it. Okay,
There you go.
that works then.
It is worth noting that the price of this project, typically our policy is sealed bid. This got dropped on us pretty fast and it wasn't intended to miss that policy, but here we are and we only had 2 people that wanted to quote it anyway. There was a 3rd person contacted that did not get back to us.
So Herto, option 3.
Yeah, I would say.
It's the cheapest and it's the
The biggest.
It's the
biggest.
same,
Biggest.
same unit.
Yep.
And this unit lasted how many years? A
30.
long
Yeah,
long
it's
time?
been a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long, I said, on
No,
clipboard,
well,
put that in.
We didn't put
Yeah.
it in there.
Also worth noting that we
Yeah,
added $20,000 to the budget at town meeting for this purpose and we're coming in $3,500 under that.
There you
Not to say we couldn't spend it somewhere else.
Kind of
Thanks.
clean things.
Oh, yeah. we did.
go. Yeah.
Things break all the time.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
somebody like to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion
I
to
move,
accept
I move
option 3.
I move that we go with Herto's option 3.
There you go.
So
I'll
is there a
second
motion?
it. I'll second it.
All right.
Close enough.
Motion from Rick, second from Jimmy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for public information, that number's 16,500.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah. And that number includes all new piping that he said may be able to be, the piping there may be able to be reused if option 3 is gone with and they deem that it's still safe. So it may be, it could be less, I suppose.
All right. PFAS fire protection gear.
Yeah, so I'd found this information on the International Association of Firefighters website. It's a PFAS advisory for firefighters regarding their turnout gear. Has some information about it. General safety guides in terms of how to handle the turnout gear. And I was hoping that we could distribute this to our firefighters as an informational sheet.
Do you already have that out? This stuff, have you seen it?
Yep.
Do you have it
No,
out?
Not that particular thing, but it's been an
Listed.
issue for a few years.
Yeah.
But I did contact our supplier, and right now, there's no, in their opinion, no acceptable product on the market to avoid.
Okay.
The, basically what we're talking about is there's an outer layer is what it is. There's no PFAS in that. And it snaps apart and there's a liner. To us, the liner is one piece, but it's actually made up of 3 parts. It's all sewed together. There's an outer layer, which is the vapor barrier. Then there's a layer in the middle, which, whatever it does, it has the PFAS in it. And then there's a layer that's against the body that does not. So it's, and I don't know, what he told me was, there's been testing on one new vapor barrier system that is PFAS free, and it's just, in his words, a piece of garbage. They wash it 3 times and it falls apart. So Globe, who we get our gear from, it's made right down in Pittsfield. They have not found an acceptable PFAS-free system that meets their standard yet. They are testing another product right now that may make them muster by this year, but,
Globe is testing it?
yep.
I looked them up, when you had mentioned that they were the provider, or that they were the manufacturer. They advertise that they sell PFAS-free turnout gear.
Well, and again, I don't know what to say, but I contacted the representative that sell, you know, and he said that they don't have a product that's acceptable to them. So I guess, I mean, it's probably a true statement that they probably would sell you the other, but he said, I'd love to take your money, but I'm not gonna take your money if I know the product's no good. So they do have a PFAS-free product, but it's a piece of garbage, in his words.
The governor signed a bill this past year banning PFAS uniforms. And several companies provide both protective clothing and uniforms, and they're all struggling trying to get to that point where you can get by it with the gear. I have a question. We have a gear washer.
Yes.
Has all that gear been washed in that washer
Yep.
with contaminated water?
Yep. So we really kinda not doing anything right now, are we?
And I'm not minimizing by any means. Safety is
No, no.
paramount.
So we're replacing, I noticed that we purchased some gear last year. It's just the standard globe with PFAS.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yes.
I have access to some data with regard to that, some of that gear. I'll get it for you.
Each guy still just having one set of turnout, or do they have two now?
We try to have two
Perfect.
for the cleanliness aspect.
Yeah.
If you get one fouled up while you're washing and drying it, you have another set in service.
Okay.
And all of the gear, we're within the 10-year standard for the
Okay.
NFPA, which is why we don't buy a lot each year. It's kind of a rotation
Yep.
to keep what we have in service serviceable.
And we are putting in a filter system, right?
Yes.
Yes, so then you'll be able to wash them in actually
Right.
good water. Set up, wash them in the same stuff you're trying to protect them. Okay.
I don't know if you can remove it with washing. I'm not sure if that's the case.
Yeah.
But if we can replace it with non-PFAS protective clothing, that's what we should be focused on.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be damn expensive, but,
Well, as soon
You're
as they
putting-
have a
Yeah.
product that's not gonna fall apart when we wash it.
Exactly.
right.
Right, because you said 3-ish washes, and then what's
Okay,
what
put a
does
price on
a
that?
set of turnout gear cost? I don't know. This
Well,
is
what we're buying right now is right around $3,500 a
just a
set.
tough sell for 3 washes.
How many firefighters do we have? So how many sets?
Round number is a dozen.
So 24 sets, give or take.
Right.
Yep.
But that's not, that's not all new at one time.
Right, right.
But of course, I mean, where do you draw that line? If we pull the trigger and we find a product that's acceptable, you'd wanna do
All of
at
them.
least 12 sets, so everybody had one set,
Mhm.
and then maybe the next year. I don't know, there's no perfect solution when it comes to, it's gonna be an expensive fix. And I'm not minimizing it, when the product's available that's acceptable, I'm gonna be in front of you asking for the money to do it.
Yeah.
So at this point, do we have a small number of firefighters who are typically the ones who are able to attend fires that would wear the turnout gear? Are there a handful that are most active, that respond, they're most likely to respond?
Yeah, it's very difficult to say. Yes, I have about 6 people that are really, I don't even want to use the word reliable because we're volunteers. They seem to be more available.
There you go.
And,
Available.
but that being said, fortunately, we're not like Manchester, Concord, or Boston. They're not in and out of this gear every day.
Right.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm asking is if we have hypothetically 2 who respond nearly every time, can we at least cycle through and get them a new set soon?
Absolutely. So
Once
like I
one
said,
becomes available,
as
let's
soon
go
as
flying.
that,
But even at this point, if we've been washing it in the water,
So you would do it post filtration system, buying new sets post filtration system so that they wouldn't be contaminated with the PFAS water.
Yeah. So it sounds like, so according to the data sheet, all 3 layers tend to contain PFAS, but it sounds like the stuff we purchase, only the 1 layer does.
That's what was described to me.
Now, was the whole unit washed when you washed it? The liner and all?
Yeah, you take it apart, wash the outer trouser, the outer jacket together, and then the liners get washed together, so
So they're all exposed to the
to the
contaminated
water that we have.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So now we've got it through the whole system, all right.
Well, I have no problem with handouts, but now hearing that this gives the impression that all the layers have PFAS, but we're hearing that not all the layers have PFAS, I don't know that I wanna scare everybody on the department with something that may not be completely accurate.
Well, nobody's gonna get scared, because like I say, this issue has been known for several years. There just hasn't been a solution to it.
Okay.
So we can add a note, add a supplemental piece of paper that just says.
Yeah, just add a
letter.
note.
Yeah, that says
I would just add a
maximum
note that
compliance.
says our uniforms have 1 layer. But, I mean, I don't have a problem passing it out. Make sure it's accurate with what we are using.
Has anybody been tested for the exposures medically?
Not to my knowledge, nobody, and not that that's a standard, but nobody's complained about anything.
The fundamental problem with, you're exposed to PFAS, you're probably exposed right now with this carpet. And the body can remove small amounts. The problem here is the volume. And it retains, it gathers in the body and can create a whole host of issues down the road, so.
I spoke with West Osprey Fire Chief Carl there, and about all this at one time, and he said to his recollection that he can not think of anybody that's even, knock on wood, has had a medical condition from it, from all these years up here. Now, I don't know if it's just luck or if it's just nobody's putting it together, but then these came on the scene and we're guessing 86 is what we thought about when it all first came in. And they came in through mutual aid, West Ossipee, and it got delved out from there.
But they also have been exposed to our water.
Correct.
That makes.
No,
that's-
and I'm just
Right.
simply saying, so
Right.
luckily, we've been lucky, but like you said, we don't have the big fires every day,
Right,
day in,
not.
day out.
I think at some point, though, we need to think about
Oh, no question. We don't wanna
Finding
wait till
someone
somebody
who
gets
can-
sick.
do blood tests or some battery of tests to check these people.
Yeah, I would definitely start with the
It's horrifying.
firefighters. I mean, if we've had bottled water up here for a while, then I would start with the firefighters and the library staff to do the medical testing.
And I don't know what the testing would be.
It's a blood test,
Huh?
it's a blood test, yeah,
Yeah. It might be something.
test the,
we
Could
could
it be
start-
something that, could I reach out to Primex maybe? Is there a way we
Yeah,
could
they would be,
contract with somebody? Because I don't want to speak for anybody else. I have insurance, but not everybody does.
Correct, this would be
And
done.
as a volunteer, it should be something that we
Cover.
pay the tab on, I think.
When this first came up and we were talking about it, the board had me reach out and find out, and Primex will not cover
Blood test.
a blood test for this unless you were making a claim against the town saying, I've been exposed to PFAS and I'm sick for it. If you are suing the town,
Right,
Primex would step in and maybe pay for the blood test or require the blood test that way, but they're not gonna do it that way. And part of the issue with it, I wanna say I talked to Cordell about it too, was that there's no way to tell how you got exposed to the PFAS. You could have grew up next door to a PFAS factory, I'm being facetious,
no,
but
you're right.
you don't know how the exposure came about through that person's life to be able to pin it down to anything.
the only way you could do it now
So.
is when they first start, have a baseline.
Well, what about the state lab? And I'll make a phone call to DHHS tomorrow.
See what's out
See
there.
if it's possible.
I know that,
So I have data sheets, right? I have information about human testing. I could share that. And even if, regardless of where it came from, they need to know, right? Regardless of whether or not it's from washing in it or drinking it or being in this vicinity or whether they got it somewhere else. They're just at higher risk right now and they need to know, regardless of where it came from. So I can, in addition to the phone calls that you wanna make, I can send you the information that I have on human testing.
this past year, Senator Shaheen bundled up at $50 million or something to the state over this issue. It was all targeted at Pease, of course, that's what the things blew up. There might be some money there. I mean, I'm sure they're testing people down there.
So I have a lot of information on money right now. So I've been attending this week and for the next 3 days, free workshops from New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services about water funding, federal funding and state funding, and a lot of 4 different slide decks are dedicated to PFAS funding. So New Hampshire did join a class action lawsuit and did file a class action lawsuit against 3M, against DuPont, against a couple other companies that manufacture the foam. First round, they got $65 million. That'll be trickling in. DES talked this morning about how they are creating a basically department or process or whatever for the money that's going to come in. They're creating a fund that's going to take in the $65 million, and then with the other grants, like the one that Mike started for the funding that we just got, the $66,000, you apply for it, you put together your packet, and then they prioritize. So if, they said, as soon as things are, just pre-apply for everything, and then by the time it gets to actual application time, if we need more information, we'll ask you, is kind of the thing. So there's a lot of funding available. We will qualify, we'll be prioritized based on our numbers. So I can look to see if that 66,000 would cover some of the gear, so we could get some of that replaced right away. We have the 66,000 to work on the water filtration systems. We have 100 in the groundwater remediation fund that was just funded in March. So we have some money for a moment. There's a potential to get hopefully a lot more, and it's safety first. We have to prioritize the people. We have to prioritize
I agree.
making them safe.
When are the filtration systems going in?
So I visited, I guess we'll skip to my list. So I visited the 6 properties that have the high levels of PFAS. One of them is a library. Sloan was kind enough to meet us at the library so we could get in there and test the water from there. We visited each property, we tested the water for minerals and other contaminants that might affect the filtration of the PFAS.
Can I,
Yeah,
1 second, are they charging us for this testing?
they will, yeah.
This board hasn't engaged?
Yeah, we got a verbal approval to engage
Okay.
them to do the testing. Yeah, that happened a couple months ago.
Okay, good, sorry.
So I'm trying to remember this, but anyway, so we did that, we did the testing, we scoped out each property owners were home, and we took photographs of where the filtration systems will go in their basements. So we got the mineral results back yesterday. We're waiting for radiological results, which should be coming in any day now. And he's already starting to compile pricing on the filtration systems based on the mineral results, and then the radiological will
Yeah, I was just,
as necessary. So we're looking, probably gonna be at least another month.
well, yeah, I was just wondering, because we
Yeah.
were talking about if you're gonna get new turnout gear, you obviously wouldn't wanna get it and wash it before, so that was just
Yeah,
for my own,
yeah, so we're looking,
in the next month or so, hopefully.
yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
All right. Well, in that case, I think the question is, are we all good with this getting handed out?
Oh,
Yeah.
as we were talking, looking through, thank you, for the 10 years worth of invoices and purchase orders for the gear. I'm just seeing a couple on top here where the boots contain PFAS as well. So I haven't gone through all of this yet to see if anything else says it, but they have a little asterisk, contains PFAS for these boots. So, do you want me to go through these to see if anything else, cause it does say the moisture barrier, like Chief said. And these other ones say boots. Do you want me to finish going through it to confirm what does, what doesn't, or to just let them know that some of our gear does?
Thank you. I would prefer, if we're gonna hand it out, for it to be factual.
Right.
For what we have, so that we, like I say, you're not kinda, not that, and everyone knows that some of it has, but at least that way they can be on the same page with.
Okay, so at this point, we know moisture barrier and boots.
All right then. So
Can
we-
I ask for clarification?
I'm gonna say no, and I will explain myself. We have a 5-person board now, and we really, with this many people up here, we don't have enough time for that if we get to a big crowd, so I'm gonna try to hold to the regular standard. We're gonna keep the regular public comment section open. We do have a policy at the end of the meeting that it is at the board's discretion for some other public comments, so if I can, I'll get back to you at the end. Alright. So we're gonna make sure this flyer has up-to-date info.
Yep, we'll just, when I go through this and see if anything else contains PFAS, then we'll just say, more specifically, Madison gear contains, this is identified as.
Perfect. Sounds good. Cable contract.
It's all right, Kate Miller, our attorney, says that this is ready to go. She gave some detail in her email about the changes that she could and couldn't make. The next step would be having a public hearing on this.
Yep.
I suggested April 29th to give time, because we have to give 2 weeks' notice in the paper, and have it available for public review with Michael's office. And I also suggested having a non-meeting at 4 o'clock before the public hearing with her for the selectmen to be able to ask her any questions or anything like that you have. She's all good with that kind of a schedule, but she did note that she would have to leave by 5:15 that day to get to another town. So it would be the end of the month, but,
I don't have a problem with it, but I won't be here that day.
and I don't think, Rick, you weren't gonna be here either, right? You weren't gonna be here the 29th?
The 29th, if I'm gonna be here, I'll be late.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna try to be here.
So we don't have to have it that day. That was just my first thought. We could push it to the next meeting in May.
May 13th?
13.
Yeah.
The 13th.
I can ask her if she's free that day, and if not, we'll go to the next one.
Monday.
It's a Tuesday, May 13th, regularly scheduled board meeting.
Good news is I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think I'm available, alright.
I'm good with the 13th. I know, yeah, I would, the 29th will probably be one of the only meetings I miss, but I won't be here that day.
Alright, so I'll ask her for May 13th, and then if not, we'll go to May 27th.
And we'll just keep kicking the can
Yeah.
down.
She said she was,
Let's-
she had well, it seemed like she was free all the days in May, so.
Okay, if those two don't work, maybe we can try to make a Monday or something work for her, just to not push it out too far.
Yeah, alright. Stick with May and then we'll backtrack. Alright. But, other than that, the document itself, becomes public once she gives us the clean copy that says when we're having the hearing and all that kind of stuff, and then it'll be available at Michael's office when we post for the public hearing.
Okay.
So,
They maybe have just a break cramp here, but the 2-week time frame on the public hearing, is it just because it's a contract?
I think it has something to do with actually written in the contract, is that how you have to
Okay.
notice it?
Yep.
There's an RSA that dictates
Yep.
how you have to go about a contract change with the cable company.
Okay. Okay.
So if you are all good with that, I'll keep moving and run with it. If those May dates, one of those 2 May dates work, I'll just get the
Everybody
public hearing
okay?
going and everything.
either one of those May dates, 13th or the 27th?
13th sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Quick question. The changes that have been, that she has in orange or red or whatever.
Yep.
Are those changes since the last version of this, or are they changes from the original contract?
I it's not from the original contract. I'm most positive it's changes from the last draft that she gave us.
Yep.
Yes, because this doesn't look anything like our original contract.
All right, we all have it, we can take a look at it, and then hopefully she can be here on the 13th. So the 13th will be at 4 o'clock as opposed to a 4:30 for the
Okay.
non-meeting. Friday, she can be here. Joy? Anything else on your list?
Speaking of times, did anybody want to change meeting times from 4:30 to 5:30? No? Okay. I'll ask in 2 weeks again, don't worry.
Oh, he was all excited earlier, didn't
Well, I mean, I don't have trouble getting here at 4:30, but, I mean.
That's not what you said before, all right. All right,
this
change
is
tune,
My
that's
own
fine.
boss. Well, I mean, it cuts into my workday, but sometimes that's okay.
All right, so like I mentioned earlier, walked the 6 properties, water samples, minerals, all that other stuff. We have the water samples back, and he's putting together the price estimates on the 6 filtration systems. At this point, we would put one in the firehouse, because that's where the water comes into the municipal complex, firehouse, then it goes library, town hall, and up to the DPW. So at this point, we would put one in the firehouse and test the water, for example, downstream library and up here, to confirm that that is doing the job. We had that one previously untested residence that allowed us to test. Their numbers are below both New Hampshire and EPA standards, so it's doubly good. So they're all set. Like I said, I'm attending the workshops all week. Town of Merrimack did a massive PFAS remediation project, but because they're right near the St. Gobain plant that had all the chemicals, and they're a massive Superfund site. But they had to put in a whole water treatment plant for 6 wells and $20 million project. The reason why that's interesting, because it talked about all the different funding sources they had to take a huge chunk out of that $20 million. So, yeah, there are multiple ways that we will qualify. I mean, there's the clean water, then there's the drinking water, then there are all these different types of funds. So it looks like they're letting PFAS under multiple of those. So, that'll be good. Yep, and again, they're creating, so they got this $65 million from lawsuit settlements, and they're hoping to get more, so that's also good news. Rex Square, I put down everything except for the donation one, so that's all set. Website is update whenever John wants to take that. I think that's all I had.
That's good. Rick?
it? Nothing.
Jimmy?
Same, I don't have any.
Jake?
Yeah.
All right, down the list. I don't have anything.
Okay,
Linda?
Thank you.
good.
All right, it's time for you to leave. I'm not asking you now. Oh, yeah. Sloan?
Nothing, the library is great. I don't know if you've heard, but Donald Trump signed an executive order to shut down IMLS, which is a funding agent for our state library. So $1.5 million, and if that goes through, which it probably will, it'll cut into interlibrary loan and downloadable books. And just a heads up, because the state library will not be able to come up with the $1.5 million So it'll do the trickle down to local libraries. So I'm sure they'll reorganize in some sort of manner to try and make up for it. But next year, because we are all paid for this year, but at some point that might stop. And that'll have a big impact on our community because we are such a small library. So we look to borrow books and items and references from other libraries. So just letting you know, but other than that, programming and everything is going great.
Good, thank you. Chief?
Okay, first thing, the MS 123, which is the list of all elected appointed officers, has been updated, has to be submitted to the DRA within 20 days, so I have it up to date as of last week and submitted, so well within the 20 days. The only thing that will need to be updated is I'm waiting on the composition of the planning board because they had nobody signed up for any of the spots on them, so they'll have to evaluate write-in candidates and whether or not they're going to recommend somebody to you to appoint to the planning board, and same for the composition of the ZBA. They're appointed by the board, and so I'm waiting for those two things to happen. And then, once that happens, that will be updated for the year, unless somebody, resigns or whatever. I did last week obtain the category 4 burn permit, commercial burn permit for the transfer station. We have a new ranger in this area. Tom Trask moved on to a position in Connecticut, and a young man moved down from Lancaster. He's covering this area now, and he's living in Bartlett. But anyway, so he's very, very much active, and he was happy to meet me at the site. And long story short, we've got a commercial permit to burn for the year at the transfer station on the brush pile, not anything else. Not to steal anybody's thunder, but the rec payments through my office is really seamless and not burdensome whatsoever. The only thing missing is the people coming in to pay based on the spreadsheets that have been provided. We've done probably a half a dozen, I think, this week. So it's like once I got it set up, which wasn't anywhere near as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. It's simple. We should have done it last year.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And no, we already talked about the mutual aid agreements.
Good.
Oh, yeah, the biggest thing, piece of paper I brought. Next Monday is lien execution day for unpaid 2024 taxes. Right now, as of this afternoon, in totality between both billings, we've collected 98.68%, leaving a balance of around $146,000 subject to lien right now. And last year we liened $160,000, so we're a little bit ahead of where we were last year. So Monday for any unpaid 2024 taxes at noon time.
Okay.
And that's all.
Heather?
Spring sports, the registration is now closed. We have plenty of children, we do not need any more. We have 2 t-ball teams and 2 softball teams. We have our rookie softball, grades 2 and 3, with about 10 girls. And then we have our grades 4 through 6 softball, with 15 maybe? Yeah, so it's good. We're waiting to find out if other teams have enough, so we always have enough, so it's pretty good that way. Mike, thank you for taking all this on, the payments, it's awesome. Takes a lot off of me, which I appreciate.
And me and Sharon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yes, you take it right, helping them, yeah.
Yeah.
summer camp registration will hopefully go out this week. It's been mostly ready for a while, I'm just waiting for last minute tweaks. We have field trips planned. Waiting to hear back from the bus transportation for quotes. I don't know how much you want me to dive into that, but
The discussion we had, we need to talk about the fee situation because we'll have to have a public hearing for those. So the discussion between Heather and I had that there's potential for, right now we charge $100 per week for 8 weeks. And last year, we set the fee at $600 for early payment. I don't remember what the date was, or it was an all at once payment.
It's just if you pay for 8 weeks, you get, it's
Yeah.
only $600. If you only do, if you do 6 weeks, it's $100 a week, yeah. So,
Thought was to bring that pay all at once fee up from 600 to 700 to try to offset some of the transportation fees that we've been incurring. Last year we got hit with $5,000 in transportation fees. There
I
were,
bought a bus for that price.
yeah, we should have bought a bus
We
for that
should've.
price. But I don't think it's a huge hit. You're still offering a discount to everybody to pay it once, but we save a little bit on the transportation. The other side of that was the field trips that we're having. We have one field trip a week for summer camp, tacking on $3 to the cost of the field trip. We don't make any money on the field trip. They pay for what it costs for them to go.
Right.
Tacking on $3 to pay for the bus to take them there onto that, but we would also need to put that on our fee schedule and have a public hearing for it. I don't think the fees are outrageous. I think $100 a week is pretty cheap, and offering that $100 discount is still pretty good. And $3 for a bus ticket, I think is still pretty fair.
So we kind of were winging it last year with paying for the field trips. They don't have to be an established fee because it's just going straight to the water
Correct.
park or whatever.
We're charging what they're charging,
Yeah.
the group rate, yeah,
So just pass through.
yeah.
We have I don't have my drawdown down
Oh, and
here.
that's-
We have a field trip line.
We do this,
Yeah,
it's
so
$4,000 in it.
we have a field trip line, and we estimated what all these field trips were gonna cost in that field trip line. We pay that out and they pay it back. It's the same thing as anything else. It goes into the general fund, but it pays us back for what we expended.
Are you still doing the sibling discount? That got complicated.
Too.
Yep.
Good. Just trying to simplify everything a little bit.
The other question is discounted rates for counselors' children. It was never put on paper how we were gonna handle that. It was handled last year where counselors didn't pay for their kids or what, not a big deal, but we need to put it on paper as to how we're gonna do that going forward, just so we have something noted in minutes or in a policy or whatever the case may be.
I think that was established right from the beginning.
Yes, but we can't seem to put our hands on a set of minutes from back then.
So that was, you counseled, your kids came for free. Now, the concern is, someone like myself with 1,000 kids, if my wife was to work, that's $4,000 worth of revenue that you're not getting.
I think the way it was set up, but again, it's in minutes somewhere, was that, like the first 2 kids were free, but after that, there was charge, and again, it's in.
Well, see, that's the
rec
problem.
minutes
We've gone
somewhere,
through
yeah.
minutes and can't find any recollection of minutes that state that. So we just wanna put it in
Yeah.
our minutes as to
Right.
how we're gonna do it so that we know where to point
Yep,
as for that procedure. I think the policy should be, I mean, you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but first kid's free and you pay for the rest. That's my thought on it.
I feel like that, again, I don't know about his other recs, but with other programs I'm involved with, that tends to be it. You get
Yeah.
your first kid free, and then if you have other kids in the program, they pay. But it's 50%, 33% off if you get 2 or 3 kids, so it's still a better deal than, paying for all 3 of them. But I think you gotta watch your bottom line, because if everybody you have has 2 kids, you got 8 people you hire, and you're out 16 kids, that's a substantial amount of money that the town's paying and not receiving back.
Receiving back, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely grew, because I think that first year was just one with 2 kids, and then the next year was more with at least 5 kids, and then after that it was, yeah.
Right.
It started off small and with,
Right.
you know, with good intentions, but, yeah, definitely is a
And this would
lot
go
of good people
For
involved.
counselor and director, correct, yeah,
Correct.
okay. First kid for free.
As long as this board's okay with it, do we?
We get a vote on that?
We can vote on it if somebody wants to make a motion.
Do we have to make a motion for all of it, or just this, like, so
No,
is this
the-
part of the fee public hearing, or is this?
No,
Does
this
it
is a
say-
policy, this is more of a policy,
Okay,
it's a fee waiver, really,
Yeah,
of
you don't have to
anything.
notice for that.
okay, so we'll make a motion to waive the fee for the first child's registration for camp counselor and rec director. And that includes full-time and part-time counselors?
They're all part-time employees, that's their designation because they only work the summer.
So,
I wouldn't wanna muddy the waters by,
right, that'd make it a little more.
Okay.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, so first kid's free, full price for the rest. Don't have more than one kid.
I'll send them somewhere else.
Now, we need to hold a hearing for the fees, but we also need to get summer camp registration out as soon as humanly possible. Is there, it's usually 7 days that we post it for,
Yep, you could
correct?
do one at the next, you could do a hearing at the April 15th meeting.
Is there any way we can have a hearing in between that with this board just for that fee so that she can get it out sooner rather than later if we post it tomorrow and have a hearing next Wednesday?
Unfortunately, we can't post it,
Oh,
the paper, it has to go in the paper, which would, the soonest would be Thursday, that it could get in the paper.
so there would be no sense
Yeah, so you'd be a
doing it
couple
before
days.
our next meeting, yeah.
And that's, so then, next Thursday, you could, following Thursday, you could, so, yeah, next Thursday, you could have a,
Next
I
Thursday, I
could
think there's a
put-
rec committee meeting at 5:30,
I
so we
could
can have it right before that.
put to be determined for field trips,
No, because you're also
just to
increasing.
get it out. Oh, and,
But
right,
we
the big
changed
fee,
it.
right, yeah,
The big fee they're gonna wanna
big
pay.
fee.
Yeah, because you'd save about 4 days if you did it, if we had it Thursday. I mean, which, whatever, I'm willing to do, whatever works.
Is saving the 4 days gonna help you if we do it next Thursday?
Sure. Probably not, no.
well, ultimately, it'd be kind of like a week, because
Because
otherwise it would be
they wouldn't
Tuesday
be able
night
to
before
pay
you do it,
you
and then
anyway.
you'd be able to
Registration
open it
on
Wednesday
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
registration,
it's
so.
gonna save you about a week.
They wouldn't be able to pay him anyway after Thursday.
Well,
Right?
suppose
Does
Friday,
that make sense?
Sunday.
That's right, because it's,
You go
Town
one
office
day.
is no-
Really wouldn't
Right.
save,
but it would give you Monday, Tuesday, would give you 2 days.
Well, but it would give you that opportunity for them to sign up, they're not, yeah, I don't know. It's up to you,
right?
Make the call either.
make the call, either next Thursday or
It's
the
up to
following
you
Tuesday.
guys. I'm always
It
available.
sounds like we'll do it, if there's at least 3 of us that'll be here for the public hearing.
Then do it,
Okay.
next
Alright,
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
What time?
Your meeting's at 5:30 on Thursday?
That's what's in the.
Oh, Wednesday, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so
Nope. I have it in the town.
it's Wednesday.
Okay,
Night, yeah.
I think the town website needs to be updated then,
For what?
for the rec meeting, I think.
Oh, I don't
Well-
post the rec
4:30
meetings on the
Yeah, they'll be
website.
official, yeah.
Yeah, no, your, the rec thing goes to your
it'll
website,
be on the
if you
10th?
click on
Thursday the 10th, yep.
town
So
website.
many calendars.
Thursday the 10th at 4:30, work for everybody here?
Try.
Thursday the 10th, what time?
4:30,
This be at the school or here?
here.
Can't imagine there'll be that many people.
Quick, fast.
I have to put it in the paper what you wanna change, so it's gonna be an 8-week program is gonna be $700.
If paid in full. Yeah,
What time? Cause it's a school play on that night as well.
time's the play, 6?
Starts at 6.
Should only be a couple minutes.
If we do it at 4:30, it should be only be a few minutes. I can't imagine anybody,
Before.
Fussing about it. I'll do it for, I mean,
I mean, I'm good with 4 o'clock too, that doesn't, but we have to mold to the whole board. Anybody opposed to 4 o'clock so that Mad TV can make it over to the play.
And the play hairdresser.
You wear
Alright.
many hats. Heather.
No,
Many hats.
no opposition to 4 o'clock,
No.
so 4 o'clock,
April 10th, here.
April 10th. And the other one is a $3
We're running out of numbers.
fee for bus rides to field trips.
$3
$3
per.
per
That's it.
student per trip,
Yes.
field trip. And do I have, and that's, do I have to put something like in addition to the admission fee?
fee,
In
yeah.
addition to admission fee.
In addition to the admission fee. I
You
don't
wanna
see,
call it a fee, or is that confusing? Price of admission?
there is potential for you to roll out registration and just note that it can't be paid until after our hearing. No. Just so you can get a look at your numbers. Just put it right in your registration, payments to be made after the 16th, or on or after the April 16th.
Okay.
I don't,
Are folks
unless you
gonna-
think that's gonna cause an issue. Because they're not gonna pay at registration, they have to either come here or call Michael to pay anyway, and he can just say, sorry, you can't pay till the 16th.
Why
Are
Once
folks
the
gonna,
16th?
Well, just after our hearing, I was just
Oh,
pulling
I'm
the date
sorry,
off the
okay.
calendar.
Yeah, sorry.
If it's anything like the sports, they're not really in a
I
rush.
was gonna say, I don't think we're in a,
You'll be chasing people
Yeah.
down.
But I
Awful
think-
though, if they come in, you can't get it.
but
Right.
are folks, before they sign up, they should know that it is likely going to increase to 700 before they sign up.
It's-
I don't think it's going to deter anyone,
But it's gonna be in the
but
paper Thursday, the
Yes.
changes, so it'll be,
You can
You'll
write,
be able to
you have,
find it in
you're
the
using a
newspaper.
Google Doc, right? Same Google Doc as before, just write
yeah,
it.
the only thing is I usually attach our, handbook, to
With the
it,
fee
with all
schedule.
of that information.
Alright, so just wait, never mind. Sorry, I opened
Registration
my
will
mouth.
go out 4:10 at 4:30.
bingo,
After
Perfect.
4 o'clock here.
4 o'clock.
4:07,
So those are the only, right, that's it?
those
for-
two changes, right?
Those two changes, yeah. As far as
I always
fees.
think of something.
Yeah. Okay, yep, I can make that happen.
swim lessons, you thinking about that yet?
That's
No.
the same,
Okay.
yep. Keeping that the same.
And you're still working on swim lessons for children that aren't attending camp, but we're not ready to roll out fees for that yet, because we'll need a hearing for those fees.
It's the same.
Oh wait, that's right, we had a hearing
Yep.
for those fees.
Summer camp
Okay.
kids that sign up for summer camp automatically get swimming lessons included. It would be the non-summer camp kids that would pay to sign up for swimming lessons,
Oh, we
and
had-
it's the same as last year.
Same as last year, we're not changing that fee.
The only change that could happen is I do have a counselor, that has applied who is interested, if we have enough swimming lesson kids, interested, she could get certified, and we'd have 2 instructors.
We're just waiting to look at numbers before we
Yes.
tackle that. And it was $500 to get them certified? 5 or 6?
I wanna say somewhere on that, yeah.
Yep.
And then would you have to do CPR training again for anybody?
We'll do all that, yep, for whoever needs it. It's usually every other year, correct? I think it's a year.
Well, the license is
I go
different
every
to
year,
2 years.
just 'cause I just like it, but I need to know what's going on.
Beating on the dummy.
If you need something like that, though, we can get that through the ambulance contract. It just, with enough forethought, we can get it scheduled.
Okay?
They have instructors.
So I think that's it with summer camp. The egg extravaganza is Saturday, April 19th, 9 to 12 at the Madison Elementary School. Egg hunt, pancake breakfast, Easter bunny. Yeah. And then our 5K is May 4th.
Perfect. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Good? Alright. Signature items. Alright, so, back to you, Donna. I am gonna ask that going forward, we stick to the 15 minutes at the beginning of the meeting for public comment, but you didn't know that coming into this meeting, so I'm gonna let you ask your question now. If you-
Oh, just a clarification on the blood test that Primex said they wouldn't cover. Does that mean it's the end of the story?
It just means that we can give, there's information, public information available about what folks can do to get tested. So we're gonna look at that information, share amongst the board and see.
I don't know how much the blood test is, but I would hope that it would be
oh,
something
this
that
one's
the
you.
town could absorb.
It's all of us.
Oh, okay. Can't read that small. Okay.
What do you think about that?
That's the,
Oh,
that's the
town.
town,
Hello?
What was that?
Did you ask for my comment?
Mhm.
Okay.
I thought Joey had answered you, I'm sorry.
I don't think so. Primex is not gonna cover the employees'
Employees.
blood test.
Correct.
Is there,
I'll look into
is there
optional.
something moving forward? I mean,
I'm gonna look into
That's just-
information and see
Yeah, that
if
was
there
just-
is funding
Just
available, because
just
there
to-
was funding available
As the
for,
technical.
for wells that, like, weren't,
Anywhere on-
that were
Anywhere
not
on
tested
these
yet.
three
If you had a
lines.
concern about PFAS, you could contact the state and they would test your well for free, if you met certain criteria. So there may be a category similar to that, so I'll look into that.
okay, I guess my final comment would be that if there was not state funding or federal funding, I would hope that that would be something that the town could absorb. I don't imagine it's that much.
Okay.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, something to
We'll
look
look
into.
into it.
Okay.
Coleman? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a question about these intents to cut.
Yep.
Okay, I have concern about these timber cuts on town roads, that access town roads, and the damage, potential damage that can occur. And I believe, and I know bonding is probably out of the question, but there must be a way that we can protect ourselves. So if damage
We have to
occurs,
have that, right?
we can get it repaired.
I think we've had this discussion before, and regardless of a bond, if they damage the road, they're still liable for it, but we still have means to get it fixed.
Well, I'd invite you to come up on Glines Hill and look at my area, and I can give you the names and I can give you the dates of when it happened. And I was promised that it was gonna be repaired, and it hasn't been. The road was totally destroyed.
Was it done before road bans?
Pardon me?
Was it damaged before road bans, I'm assuming?
This is a few years ago.
Oh,
Those few years.
oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I was just, I didn't know if you're discussing this year.
I just think we need to get ourselves in a position. We spent $300,000 last year. We just voted to spend $400,000 more. And I'll be damned if I wanna pay more money because somebody has wrecked the roads for logging operations. And I'm not opposed to clean forests, I'm not opposed to logging. I'm just concerned about the equipment, and I've seen the equipment they haul in on some of our roads just damages those roads. And we, as taxpayers, it'll shorten the life of the road and cost us money quicker down the road. So I think we need to get something in place and make sure, even in somebody following these, to check the roads before they start, check the roads after. Because there's always gonna be an argument, well, we didn't create that problem. I think we need to be more active in that regard, because we're talking thousands of dollars. And once they tear it up, it's damn hard to fix, I'll tell you.
So as far as the intent to cut goes, my understanding is as long as it's not a ask permission, it's a notice of intent. We don't have any authority to necessarily deny, is my understanding of it.
I don't think we're looking to deny, just check the roads.
No, I'm just pointing that out. Can we ask Cordell what authority we have without a bond if roads get damaged for cuts?
I think we need to establish some kind of a policy with that, in that regard. Some kind of an inspection of these as they're going forward. And not all roads will be impacted. I'm not saying it's gonna be damage here in Westview, but if there is, who's gonna pay for it?
I know some of the past discussion, if I may, is that similar situation can happen when someone's building a new home.
Right.
Because you're bringing a cement truck in, or, you
Excavators.
know, or whatever it is. So there's a lot of situations, not just logging, that would have to be monitored and, you know, so I think that's part of the reason why the idea has been shying away from asking for a bond for an intent to cut, because if you're treating the loggers different than you may be treating the guy who's putting a foundation in, you're not treating everybody the same, is part of, that's part of the discussion and the theory and the concern that's come up before, so, just saying that out loud.
I just don't buy that, but it's just me.
What was the kind of chicken and the egg scenario up on Pound Road when like one of the big logging trucks got stuck and blocked the bus for an hour? Was that road issues making the logging truck get stuck? Was the logging truck causing road issues? Like, do we know?
I don't.
I don't know.
I guess a question, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, no, a question that I would have too is if we start to do this, which I'm not saying I'm opposed to or for, you know, does that then shift, so what's the liability on, let's say, the town road is due to, you know, the weather is bad, like they get now, and it damages someone's vehicle? Are we liable for that? I'm playing devil's advocate, that's all I'm doing, just trying to, but you know what I'm saying, like if I'm driving down Pound Road and there's a sinkhole, nothing due to anyone's wrongdoing, but I go in and rip my truck up, is there liability on the town's end for that?
I know
No.
that there isn't,
Okay.
unless we were notified of that
Yes,
and we
okay.
didn't take care of it, and then you
Right.
had
Did-
damage.
okay, alright.
So
But
that's together.
Yeah,
Right.
just, that was just
if it was
point of
negligence
clarification.
on our part,
Right.
if it was just a
Yep,
freak thing, then.
yeah, just point of clarification, thank you.
Alright, Marcia, I'm sure you heard me, but I'm gonna tell you the same thing. We're gonna try to keep it to the 15 minutes in the beginning, but I'm gonna let you go ahead right now.
Thank you. I just have a question about the rationale behind cutting the trees and the ditches to prevent more washouts. Is that what I understood?
Correct, is to create
don't-
proper drainage on the road to prevent washout.
So it's not that the roots are holding the bank back, it's that the tree is impeding the water flow down the road.
Correct.
Gotcha. And my other question is about the PFAS filtration system. Who maintains that and what happens to the filters full of PFAS?
The-
So-
Oh, go ahead. It's your
I
thing.
was gonna say, that would be,
Yeah, so, the town will be responsible for maintaining them, we'll contract with, people who install it. And then, they do periodic testing to see if there's breakthrough. And when there is, they replace, the filtration system.
And they dispose of those filters?
Yes, that's, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, with that, the second non-public on our agenda will not be happening, but I am going to make a motion to enter non-public session per RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, little b, the hiring of any person as a public employee. Do I have a second?
second,
Roll call vote. Joy?
Joy, aye?
Rick?
aye.
Jimmy? Aye. Adam?
Jake, aye.
Jacob, aye.
Alright, you missed some in there.
I missed some?
They're at multiple tags.
Oh, they're all together.
Heather, you're not allowed to leave.
Thank you.